Greetings! Today I'll be taking a look at this set of 21 colors by White Nights. This is the Sonnet range, which is the student range if I understand it correctly. I was able to find it on eBay at a very decent price. It came nicely packaged with a business card and a plastic bag from the seller. What really spoke to me though about this set is the color of the tin and the layout of the tray inside. This is a tin we often see for sets of 24 half pans or 12 full pans. This one, however, stocks 21 full pans on purpose. It also has only one mixing lid, as it doesn't have the second folding mixing area. The pans are not wrapped, which is a time saver, and the paint names and info is on a plastic overlay. The set had traveled well, but it was still a bit shaken on the way, and I took a moment to pop pans back in and clean the tin a bit. There were bits of paints in there. You can see under the tray that there's a bit of extra mixing space on the bottom of the palette. Not for big puddles, because you also have the holes for the thumb ring in there, but it's a more mixing space. For the swatches, I got a bit confused while making the chart, so forgive me if it's a bit odd. Also, one of the colors had switched places with another one, so the order of the painted swatches is not the same as the order of colors on the plastic insert. The colors were super easy to be wet and really vibrant. They were also super smooth on the watercolor paper for the swatches. I wouldn't be able to tell at first glance that these are a student range set. To test out the paints, I drew a small scene with a Viking cat fishing. I used a masking fluid. It's this pinkish outline you see on the character. The paints were a lot of fun to use. I think, from my gradient attempts for the sky, that these paints don't move a lot on the paper. You know, when you put some paint down in a wet area, sometimes the paint spreads out really fast. Well, I don't think that's the case for these colors, or at least for the blues. But I was able to adjust it with a few layers on top of my initial one. It took really well to layering. I encountered no issues while superposing colors over color many times. With the bluish green and the violet deep, I was able to mix a really deep, nice dark blue for the water. Kinda reminiscent of Indent Throne blue. I even used a bit of the white paint for water effects later on. It was not the most opaque white, so I used a few other opaque whites in there. The colors were a lot of fun to use, and I would say that this selection of colors is actually quite nice. Here I am back with the swatches that I've dried. You can see that they've dried pretty well, and that it would appear as if most of the colors are quite transparent. The white here has a bit of opacity, yellows. The gold ochre also has a tiny bit of opacity. Can I help you? No. Ellie. 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 As I was saying, I think the colors are really, really lovely. They are super intense. You can see that they graded really well. There was no patchiness, no streaking. Very interesting palette because it covers basically most of what you want in a palette. Now I know that some of these pigments are not the most light fast. That's probably an issue, like this violet, this one. I think this pigment might not be the most light fast. There's always some issues with pigments that are in the like magenta and violet ranges. Those tend to be the least light fast. I was also quite happy to see that the burnt sienna and burnt umber are PBR7. It doesn't really change anything, it's just my favorite pigment for these colors. This set also has the Beautiful Pg8 Pigment, which I know, again, not the most light fast color, but it's such a unique green and really, really useful color. As for my demo painting, this is what it looks like, finished. I came back with a bit of gouache and bleed-proof white for the highlights on this part and the fishes, the eyes, the bracelet. But yeah, the colors are super smooth again. You can see a bit of granulation in this sky because I used some ultramarine, but I was able to build up a really nice gradient with the colors. And as for the water, the set doesn't really have a super deep blue, but you can easily mix one. I think either my blue mix or the, like this phthalo blue here would be, you know, quite useful. I was able to layer the colors without any issues. No streaking, no weird things happening. The pigment all mixed really well. And yeah, overall a really, really nice set. Overall, I think this is a really excellent set. For beginners, of course, but also for anyone else. This tin you can definitely get a lot of use from. It's really compact, it's really practical, seems to be well made. Doesn't have the sharp edges around here, so we like that. It's a bit small in terms of mixing space because we don't have the other flap here, but otherwise really solid palette. And I think you can easily, like say you don't want to use the white or you don't need these two yellows, I think you can fairly easily switch the pans out with any other pan from White Knights, which are the professional range of this company. So yeah, and the pans are super affordable, so you can really start with this set and customize it as you go, which I think is awesome. Do I recommend it? Yeah, definitely. If what you've seen in this video seems fine to you, if you want a good range of color for practice, if you don't really mind that certain colors might not be the most light fast, definitely a good set. It is not the most affordable of all the student sets because you can get some good student sets for really, really low prices, but considering this one has 21 colors in full pans and a really nice tin, and this is quite practical to have too, so you always know your colors, except when they switch places, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I would recommend this set if, like I said, you're okay with everything, like every pro and con that comes with it. Really lovely set, and I'm very, very glad I was able to try it. What do you think of this set? Is this something you feel you would use? And if so, how would you use it? How do you like this super condensed palette of having 21 full pans really tightly in a single tray? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you very much for watching. Take care, bye bye.